Ready for a road trip?
Ready.
Yay! I got a massage, so I'm feeling pretty good. Going down to Wisconsin this weekend. Check out some neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Maybe a brewery or winery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And take Corey's Tesla out for a long trip. Test drive. Not test drive. See how it goes. We're not the only ones.
We aren't.
Road trips go a lot faster when you sleep, you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Like how it only takes half hour to get to Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Supercharger. I'm trying to get the Tesla right there. 4 more hours to go?
Yeah, about 3. Well, yeah, we'll have to charge one more time.
It's not that expensive though, it's less than $10.
Mm-hmm.
Your phone tells it too.
Yeah.
Somebody was trying to avoid socializing. There was another one and they were talking car shop talk.
Yeah.
No?
I made that mistake last time and I was stuck here like 20 minutes longer than I needed to be because I'm not mean and can't end a conversation.
Street North. Now better left onto Wichita Street.
Your car is very polite with giving instructions. First time in 3 years wearing a swimsuit in public with a pump. And I finally get the guts to show it off. And there's nobody here. I'm not complaining, it's very big. But the good thing about that is you get the whole pool to yourself, and it's actually really relaxing. It's probably one of the few perks of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And the horse show is in town apparently. I kind of want to go. I haven't been swimming in ages.
Mm-hmm.
We should find a pool membership.
Mm-hmm. We should.
I can't believe how empty these streets are.
I know that.
Like 2 years ago, this place would have been crawling with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Saturday, and
We're downtown
there's
St. Paul.
like 12 people out. Wabasha.
Wabasha. Wasn't that in Grumpy Old Men?
Yes,
the
it
name of the
was.
town?
Was that the name of the town?
I think so. I think there is a Wabasha, Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it was actually filmed there. This is crazy. It's like COVID never happened. You happy
Yeah.
with your sour beer?
Uh-huh. It's always in the grass.
That's impressive. I knew they came out with a lot of beer. I didn't realize it was this big of a production. This place is huge. Is that the German coming out in you?
Yes, it is.
You have a brake light that flips up?
It's like the gas cap.
Okay. It's cheap though, like we've spent less than $20 the whole way down here, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's not bad. So this whole trip was just a one-night trip. So I did not pack any supplies, which is my fault. But I put my new sensor in on Friday. Yesterday was Saturday. So less than 30 hours later, the sensor died again. So I've been flying blind. Not solo? Blind. Yeah. It's very different doing insulin and blood sugar checks when you don't know what your number is all the time, and it's really annoying. Not happy with Medtronic sensors right now at the moment. Woke up we got back to the hotel after eating last night. My level was at 400, which explains why I felt really gross. Check an hour later, it's at 300. It's getting better. Checked my level at 5 in the morning, and I was still at 300, and my pump just keeps telling me to change the sensor. So, awesome. So, hey, look at me learning. You should actually follow the guidelines and pack all of your supplies, even if you're only going on an overnight trip. Look at those claws.
Is that other one a cub? I couldn't really see how big
I
it
don't
was.
know. It's gorgeous. It's hot. I've said it before, but if we do another trip, we are doing all of our travels in the winter. This heat is
Ridiculous.
yeah.
I can see fine from here.
Okay. So what'd you think of Como Park and Zoo?
It was interesting, but it was way too hot to enjoy.
It's really hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous, so if it wasn't for the drought, it would be pretty.
Right.
Like, if we did make it moving down to this region, it would be nice to come here for, like, just the afternoon for a picnic or something.
Right. When it's
Alright.
not 90 degrees.
Now we're off to Hudson.
Right.
That is the St. Croix River. Oh. There's a lot of video footage on here, but honestly, we've been on the road most of this trip.
Kind of hot out.
It is hot out. So we drove into Hudson. That was the whole point of this road trip. And we drove into the city, got some food, and realized that we did not care for the city, what we drove through and whatnot. So we came back to Stillwater, which is another city that we like, and it's very quaint. Corey says it's like Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls, and he's not wrong. It's a charming old city. So if he does get a transfer, I think that's where we're going to be leaning towards.
How the streets are bad.
The streets are blocked off in the winter. Weren't they?
We were here during the winter festival thing.
That's right. So Stillwater is the oldest city in Minnesota, and it's still charming. The St. Croix River is over that way, and it's very, very full. We would get out and walk, but it's hot and miserable outside, and we're not really feeling the outdoors at the moment.
We're after the zoo.
No. The city is a lot more quiet than the metro, like Minneapolis, St. Paul, even across the river at Hudson. Stillwater is much more quiet.
Still get different. Are you still filming?
Yes. We're not home yet, but it's going to be 9 o'clock before we get back to my place, and then it's shower time. And then it's reinsert new sensor. No, we're not home yet, but it's going to be after 9 o'clock at night by the time we get back. I have to put a new sensor in, and then I have to go through Medtronic online to get a new sensor. they like it better when you order replacement sensors online rather than going through the process of calling them. I found that out the last time I had to call about an issue. So I have to do that, and then it's shower time, and then it's stretching, and then food. And that was my fault. So the next time we go anywhere, even for 6 hours, I'm gonna pack every single flippin' supply I need. I'm gonna bring the insulin, the infusion site. Oh, that irritated me so bad. I got out of the pool and I silenced the alarms on my pump so it wouldn't be freaking out, and that was a good idea. And then all of a sudden
It's a cheap sensor.
I was not happy. I was not happy. It's a 48-hour trip. So that fault lies on my shoulders completely, that I didn't pack anything. A lot of my sensors have been going bad, and I should have had the foresight to think ahead on that. But otherwise, road trip wise, we did the math. How much did we spend? It's been under $200 for charging and food and all of that. And somebody frequents hotels with work, so we got free points.
We use points to get a free night.
Same thing. So that was nice. And driving down in like downtown St. Paul really wasn't bad. I didn't get any anxiety down there this time. Like there's still nobody down there. Events and things like that are opening up. There was a lot of horse people. There was an equestrian trade show.
Is that what it was? I just thought
Something
it was a
like
rodeo.
that. No, it wasn't a rodeo. It was where they can like swap for breeding horses and show off.
Okay.
It was like a breeder's thing. Kind of wanted to go to that, but and then Corey got to go to the Como Zoo for the first time. I didn't get a whole lot of footage of that because it was disgustingly hot and sweaty out, and there were so many people. And Como Zoo has taken the German stance on ticket times, which I appreciate, but is also annoying. So you get 15-minute increment blocks where you show your reservation that you make online, and then they'll let you in with that. But if you're 5 minutes early, you get denied and sent back into the grass. But it works as long as you were right on time. So I went to go like hike my pants up in the grass, and my pants ripped.
At least it was like the leg and not the
I
crotch,
know.
the butt.
I was not happy though. I looked down like, pants aren't supposed to rip like that. It was an extra air vent. So, but we did find out when we got to Hudson, like we drove over and we're looking around, and like the city is not well maintained. And like we've been looking at houses and prices down there, and like bang for your buck, we thought it would be good. But I'm glad we did make the trip this weekend, because once we drove around there, we both just kind of looked at each other and said, no, this isn't our kind of city. So that was good. Not that we have any plans to move yet, but
Fingers crossed.
yes. And the Tesla really isn't that bad. The only complaints I have about taking the car on a long trip, and that's just sitting, and I think that's because of my back. I need to make a doctor's appointment to have some professional people consult that. But otherwise it's good. The charging, having to stop and charge somewhere, it, like you said, it breaks up the trip.
Yeah.
It does. And then you get a bathroom break and get an iced coffee break along the way.
The most you're going to be sitting, depending on how drained you are, is like a half hour. So it's,
Yeah, but we've only been stopping for like 15 minutes.
right.
And spent like $10 to charge.
Yep.
It's really not that bad. I can't wait to get home though and get that new sensor put in so I can go back into auto mode. My levels have been ridiculously high. I haven't been able to get it down below 300, and I never realized how much I took auto mode for granted, and I really don't want to give up the pump. I have issues with it, and Medtronic has a lot of faulty things, but that being said, I did not realize how spoiled I was to be having all of this. So, I mean, there is that aspect to this trip as well, because just in manual mode, it's the same as doing regular injections. You just don't know what your level is at that time, so you can't get the little extra boost. And I miss that little extra boost, because then your pump yells at you when you're at 298. So So I've been feeling kind of yucky this whole weekend. But we got to go to the Surly Brewery, which that was awesome. We don't like crowds, but that was actually really fun to be at. Everybody was really nice and friendly. People had their dogs there and they were well behaved. Even the little kids were nice and charming to be around. And then there was a couple from Wisconsin, Stillwater. So they wanted to go to, I don't know. They were really friendly and were not taking subtle hints of leave us alone. So we talked to them about like where to go and what to see and their jobs, and yeah, but it was good food, expensive. But it was a good weekend. I'm glad we did it. It was kind of nice to get out of town for a change. Any last thoughts? I'm starting to lose feeling in my arm.
No, go ahead. Sure, you can sign off.
Alright, I'll see you next time.
Alright, I just had a thought. So Rachel had been on, just pens or syringes and using a glucose meter for years, and she's been on the pump for what, 3 years, and how quickly she's adapted to that.
It's an entire life change,
Right?
and I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
But no, I did not ever think that I would be this reliant and dependent on the pump, and I swear at it a lot with all the bleep, 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 bleep alarms, and then at night when I go low, ooh, po-pos.
It was just interesting because you were flying blind, as you put it, for most of your life, and now when you don't have it, your constant data, you get a little freaked out about it.
Well, yeah, it's just like a random roll of the dice. What are we at? We're at 300. Well, it says to give you 3 units of insulin. That's not going to work because we're sitting in a car all day. Let's give an extra 2 units and see what happens.
Yeah.
4 hours later, nope, you're still at 300. And there's nothing wrong with the infusion site. Like, I was feeling for that too, because it happened when we were in Yellowstone. And it's not a bad infusion site. But I did post
was that when the cannula didn't go all the way?
Yeah, the cannula was bent. I did post a question though on a Facebook group for the Medtronic, and I asked people when having a lot of sensors go bad, and a lot of people said, yeah, it's been really frustrating, and some of them were stopping to use them. And I could really need to use a shower right now. And some of the people on there were saying to stay really well hydrated. Like, this woman was drinking like 2 gallons of water a day to help keep everything lubricated. That's an excessive amount of water. But I haven't been drinking that much water because we've been in the car.
Right.
Like, at work, I'll drink like 3 bottles of water, which are 25 ounces a piece. So I mean, I get a decent amount, and then you're peeing all the time. I can't imagine what pushing more fluids would do. So I don't know if that really does make a difference. I don't know. That went off on a side tangent.
Yeah.
But yes, I have become very dependent on the CGMs.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a guy at Como Park. He was like 3 people ahead of us. He had a Libre on the back of his arm, and I wanted to ask him how he thought, or what he thought of it.
He didn't have any surgical tape over that.
No, that's just a little circle thing. That stays in for like up to 2 weeks.
I wonder if you're supposed to be using tape with it, or if that's just how it is.
I don't see it on the TV commercials.
Okay.
And that she's a diabetic girl that lives in England. She didn't use it either because she trialed a Libre while she also had. No, I think she was still in the Guardian.
Okay.
But he was with his wife and family, and I didn't want to be annoying. And then we got distracted into the bee pollinating tent. So we went over there, and by the time we got out, they were just poof, gone. But I was surprised. There was a lot of people with CGMs down there.
Yeah.
Even, was it last week? We were going through downtown. There was a kid with an Omnipod on his arm.
That's right.
I just need to get used to having people see it. Okay, now I'll see you next time. Are you really playing Asteroids with your steering wheel?
Centipede. Thank you much. Shit.